reader?
Yeah.
I'm so ready to begin. As you have all wowed me tonight, Marc Grossberg is a first-time novelist at age 76. If Malcolm Gladwell thought Ben Fountain was a late bloomer in his 40s, he would probably call Marc a century plant. A tax lawyer for more than 50 years, his novel, RThe Best People, would be his first publication of intentional fiction. His nonfiction has been published by Tablet magazine. As a lifelong Houstonian, he is a keen observer of the social and legal scene of the glitzy meritocracy that is post-millennium Houston, Texas. He shares all that and more in both a fun and insightful way in RThe Best People. Please welcome Marc.
I know all of you are dying to go to the bathroom. Okay, so this is from my first novel. The excerpt I'm going to read is about a lawyer trying to make his first big splash. He's Patty Moran, a Houstonian by way of Brooklyn. He got a law degree at night while working as a policeman. In his first trial, he was humiliated by Marlon Seaborn, a partner in a prestigious Houston law firm, Walker & Travis. Later, a great result for one client resulted in Estelle Cook being referred to him. Estelle Cook was the wife of a senior partner at Walker & Travis. She wanted a divorce. Her husband, James, had had an affair with the wife of a young associate who worked for him. James would send the young associate out of town so James could have trysts with his wife. Bad. Patty filed a typical divorce petition, but Patty had a bigger plan in mind, suing the law firm for facilitating the affair. So at this point in the story, just before Patty meets with the managing partner of Walker & Travis to try to settle the claim before suit is filed, he has a brief meeting with his client, Mrs. Cook. And if they don't make a deal with you, Ms. Cook said, then what? Well, that would be your choice. We could file and do our best, or you could live unhappily ever after with your husband. You never know. Bill and Hillary seem to be doing okay. I don't have a lot in common with Hillary Clinton, Mrs. Cook said. Patty shrugged. Patty arrived at Walker & Travis at precisely the appointment time, prepared to wait to let him know that he was not important. He had barely settled in his chair when he heard his name called. He looked up and saw an attractive woman. He followed her through a door and then along a path, past secretarial cubicles on the interior side, and brass plaques with lawyers' names by doorways on the exterior side. He passed the name Marlon Seaborn. They reached a corner office. The brass plaque announced Tom Frost, managing partner. She let him in. Tom Frost had barely glanced up as Patty entered. Patty'd never been in an office so large and well appointed. Tom appeared young in Patty's mind to be managing partner of a big firm anyway. Ms. Morgan, Mr. Morgan, please have a seat. He gestured to a chair in front of his desk. It's Moran, not Morgan, but I'm guessing you knew that. Frost's eyes opened wide. I didn't mean to say your name wrong, no slight intended. Patty was thrown off by his openness. You know I represent Estelle Cook in her divorce. I do. Estelle is a lovely person. I'm very sorry to hear about this. I believe you mean that. You're probably wondering why I've come to see you. Yes, I am. Well, I'm handing you something, and I request that you read it while I'm sitting here. What is it, Mr. Moran? It speaks for itself. Patty watched as Tom Frost read the amended pleadings naming the firm. Finally, Frost read his eyes. His eyes were slits. His eyebrows lowered. Have you filed this? Are you asking me to accept service? Not yet, sir, because it occurred to me you might appreciate the opportunity of settling before it becomes public record. Mr. Moran, this is outrageous. If you're talking about the conduct of Mr. Cook and this law firm, I agree. It is outrageous. Silence. Frost looked into Patty's eyes. His face hardened. If I'm supposed to be frightened, Mr. Moran, I'm not. I didn't expect you to be. Originally, I was going to file it and wait to hear from you. It was this moment Patty had practiced over and over, his final shot. If this didn't work, there were too many variables. He had to play it perfectly from here. I guess you're telling me I should have. Okay, I'm done. Patty closed his briefcase. Rising, he locked his eyes into Frost. How's this going to affect your recruiting? Unguarded, Frost said. Our recruiting? Patty sat back down. In a faux drawl, he said, well, I know you, that is, the law firm has a judge in its pocket. If you don't settle, I reckon he's going to throw out my lawsuit against Walker and Travis. I'm going to appeal. I think I'll win, but the reality is, I might not. That's the stuff nobody can control. But one thing I do know, this is going to be a case of first impression and a very high profile one. For me, high profile is great. Win or lose, my name gets around. And this is a pretty juicy case to have my name attached to. The Moxie Street Fighter from Brooklyn had come out at the bell with his gloves flying. So I'm a winner no matter what. But that's not true for you, Tom Frost. The allegations will probably make the Chronicle, the Times, and the Wall Street Journal. And you can bet the appellate decision on the novel issue of a law firm being liable for permitting a partner to trifle with a subordinate's wife will be a reported case. And the Texas Law Review, the U of H Law Review, and yes, even the Harvard Law Review will publish notes on the case. Who would have thought Patty Moran would make those law reviews? Along the way, Walker and Travis becomes a bathroom joke, and it will have happened on your watch. We don't yield to threats, Mr. Moran. You think this is a threat? Give me a break. If you were representing my client, you'd be delighted to come up with a novel theory to increase her chances for justice. We don't sue other law firms. Well, aren't you special? Let me assure you, we do. And despite your self-righteous protestations, sir, if the right client asked you, you'd sue another law firm in a heartbeat. Another silence. Mr. Frost, Estelle Cook can't be just another plaintiff to this law firm. Frost's posture changed. You're right about Estelle. For the first time, Patty felt a favorable shift. Okay, sir, here's the deal. Your partner, Mr. Cook, agrees to her getting the River Oaks home, a 70-30 split of the rest of the community, the River Oaks Country Club membership, and the law firm pays her $3 million. I've drafted a settlement agreement. It's not negotiable. If I don't have signed drafts by 3 today, my amended petition will be filed. You expect us to hand over $3 million and get Cook to agree to a 70-30 split in less than 6 hours? I know you can do it. Frankly, I can't really say I'm expecting settlement. That's plan A. We'd settle by 3 this afternoon. Plan B is filing amended pleadings naming Walker and Travis as co-defendant at 1 minute after 3. I have someone waiting at the courthouse, so even if I get hit by a truck before then, it's filed. Just in case you choose Plan A, I thought I'd speed up the process by preparing a settlement agreement. Why are you in such a hurry? Let's just say I have tremendous respect for the power of this law firm. If I give you overnight to respond, you'll have 100 lawyers staying up all night to figure out how to silence me. I can't give you much time. 6 hours may be too much. I have a duty to discuss this with the management committee. Turning to leave, Patty said, you can reach me on my cell. Mr. Moran, I doubt we'll accept your offer. However, on the off chance we do, it might be best that you remain at our offices. Are you telling me I can't leave? Patty was genuinely alarmed. Sweat beaded at his hairline. Frost held up his hand. No, of course, you're free to leave. However, you're the one who's given us such a short deadline. It's in everyone's interest that you be immediately accessible until 3. Point well taken. The conference room Patty waited in had a southern view. The day was very clear and Patty could see all the way to the medical center. At 2 o'clock, Patty began to get fidgety. He started pacing. Then he heard a knock on the door. "Come in," Patty called. Tom Frost entered. Patty's heart raced. "Mr. Moran, the firm, and James Cook, I accept your terms. We have some wording differences on the document, but I don't think they'll trouble you." They didn't. Walker and Travis's most important concern was having the confidentiality provisions in the agreement. He had anticipated that in his draft, but Walker and Travis wanted belt and suspenders. "Bullshit," Patty resisted, saying. "What we do accept is that Estelle Cook has been a great asset to this law firm." Double bullshit. Also suppressed. Patty made his posture even more erect. Each and every member of the management committee who was available expressed his admiration for Estelle. I, for one, am a particular admirer. When I joined this firm, I was really still a boy from a poorish Texas town who really did well in law school. Let me say, she was the most beautiful, the most sophisticated, the most enchanting woman I'd ever seen, much less known. I know she knew how taken I was with her. She took great care not to make me feel a fool. Mr. Moran, no doubt you think there's more to this. You're thinking large law firms don't pay $3 million because someone is nice and devoted to this law firm. Got that right, buddy, Patty thought. But what Frost saw was a man nodding his head in a knowing and sympathetic way. Patty learned that from a Brooklyn funeral parlor director. For Estelle Cook, this law firm does. Here are 4 copies of the agreement with our changes. Return 2 copies by Ms. Cook, and we'll wire you the money. Yes, sir. Frost left the room without shaking Patty's hand. Patty looked at the document. He quickly did the math. A rough calculation of his fee came to nearly $1 million. He could barely suppress his euphoria. Then he noticed the date beside the signatures. It was the 4th anniversary of his passing the bar. Hot damn! On his way out, he passed Marlon Seaborn's office. This time, Patty stopped at the open door. He motioned to catch Patty's attention. Seaborn looked up. Patty gave him a broad smile, a big wink, and an exaggerated wave of his hand. Seaborn has a puzzled look. That motherfucker will find out soon enough why I got this shit-eating grin on my face. Patty didn't have to call off the person poised at the courtroom to file the pleadings. There was no such person.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you to all of the readers for sharing your stories with us. Thank you to Cornelia Street Cafe, our waitress Naomi, and to Paul back there. Make sure you tip them generously, outrageously. They've been awesome. And we're going to be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. We'll have 7 new readers from the Writers Hotel. Be safe, y'all.